Welcome back to day 7 of 90, and today I'm going to talk about how I haven't got everything figured out yet. So after the last few days of being reflective and thinking about how things have been, tonight I'm just thinking about some slightly different things and just thinking about how I haven't got everything figured out yet and I haven't got to be perfect at this stage. And I'm just trying to be as responsible as possible. Let's get into it. So just thinking about where I'm at the moment, I'm sort of in this transition phase in life. Obviously just lost mum. What's next? There's a big changes coming up. Even though I'm saying that I haven't got everything figured out, there's still some big plans in the work. There's still things in the near future that's coming, but like I previously said, focusing on the little bits. So it's not about having everything figured out. So some things I am thinking about at the moment is thinking about money, thinking about providing for the family, thinking about the immediate future, near future and long-term future. Not planning it, just thinking about it and keeping it in mind. Some of it a little bit further back, some of it more at the forefront, just with some of the big plans coming up. But even with everything going on, thinking about all this stuff, don't feel stressed or panicked, just feel aware about what's going on and what needs to be done and things like that. So when you hit that adult stage in life, whenever that may be, you feel like there's a lot of wanting to get decisions right, wanting to make sure that you provide correctly, wanting that stability, whatever that looks like. Everyone's different. Down below, let me know what the most stable thing is for you. Is it making sure your family's okay? Is it money? Is it job security? Is it let me know down below what it is. But when you do reach that stage of, I'm an adult, you feel like I should have everything sorted out. I should know everything by now. I should know what the plan is. But in reality, everyone is still just figuring things out. I don't ever think there's a stage, unless you win the lottery and you've got this master plan in place and you're just a 1 in a million person. I don't think anybody ever has I've got this figured out. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Life just doesn't work like that. Things crop up, things trip you up, and just doesn't go to plan like that. So the earlier you sort of understand that and grasp that concept of, you hit your early 20s and you're like, I know, I'll get this degree now, I'll get this job, I'll live this life, and this is how it'll look, and I live in this city, and I'll have this family. It doesn't always work out like that. So I think the earlier that you realise that and just take it sort of day by day, it's a lot less stress, whatever that may look like, financially, relationships, whatever. It's a lot less stress, and it's just much easier to take things day by day, rather than just sort of being frantic after this big, huge, long-term plan that's in the future that you may never achieve. So it's just worth reeling that back in a bit and concentrating more on the now. You need to realise you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to think about, what's the next big move I need to make. All you need to do is just think about what's the next most sensible move to make. Like I said, not the long-term goal, the now. So what's the next more sensible move to make? Where that might look. What's the most sensible thing to do in the next hour? What's the most sensible thing to do tomorrow? What's the most sensible thing this week, this month, this year? But when you start looking, 10 years time, 20 years time, it doesn't work out like that. That's why when you go to job interviews, for example, and they say, what's your 5-year plan? I hate that question, because your plan will never work out like that. I guarantee you, if you write a 5-year plan today, come back to it exactly 5 years today, it will not look the same. You could be vague or whatever, that's fine. But when you get super specific, say, in 5 years' time, I want to be earning £100,000 a year. You might have overreached it, you might just come in just under it, but that's just an example. There's lots of things where you could put on this 5-year master plan and it just doesn't work out like that. So what does that mindset actually look like? How do you not think about really far ahead? How do you rein it back in? How do you sort of focus on what's the next best move? So I'll reel off some things that you could try and do. So just trying to review things slowly. So just like I said, stop thinking a million miles an hour and rushing ahead. Focus more on the now. Reel it back in, slow it down, review things slowly. Just think about right, okay, take a step back, maybe write it down or make a note, write it down, this is what I want to do. People find that when they're writing journals or diaries or make notes or whatever, writing it down makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. Not only writing things out, but talking things through. When you talk with somebody, they can suggest something else that'll make you think slightly different. So when you're just stuck in your own mind, you get stuck in the thought process of, that's what I'm going to do, and that's the only option, and that's when the big future plans come into place and you need to reel that back in. So just by talking to somebody, it can help bounce back and forth, whoever that is, your partner, your friends, whatever. Just talking it through, it helps a lot as well. This is quite a relevant one, not rushing decisions. This is relevant because I'm a very, take a step back, think about what this and this, and then sort of work on it. Whereas my wife is super duper impulsive. I don't know if you've ever been, for example, car shopping with somebody who's super duper impulsive, but it is a nightmare. But yeah, so just even the bigger options in life, like buying a car, somebody who's super duper impulsive is just like 100 miles an hour, like, let's go. That's like, they don't even, and then someone like myself takes a huge step back, thinks about things. Does this make sense? Is there a better option out there? Does that make more sense? You weigh up options. Whereas my wife would go out and buy a car the same day, I would take, weeks, if not months, to make that option after doing a load of digging around and finding out this information and that information. So just not rushing any decisions. I'm not saying like take weeks or months, but depending on the decision, just take a little step back and just think, oh, does that decision need to be made now? That's the way you should think about it. Does it need to be done now? Or can I take a step back? Can I just think about it for a little bit? Whether that's a couple of minutes, a couple of days, whatever, depending on what the decision is, obviously. So just remember, you're not trying to impress anybody. You're not trying to think, oh, I'll be a doctor in 10 years' time or 20 years' time. You're not trying to outdo anybody. You're just trying to do what's the best and what's the right thing to do right now with what you've got. Right, that's enough for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.